Hi, Year 5. Me here, just going to talk to you about Tuesday's science lesson. So today, the lesson objective is that I know that when a material dissolves, it forms a solution, and sometimes this change is reversible. Okay, so we are looking at reversible changes and dissolving. So first of all, we're going to talk about mixtures. So I want you to try and make a mixture of toys. Could be Lego, could be different sized bricks, could be some Lego and some other stuff. I don't know. Maybe you can make a mixture of some cereal. Probably best to eat it afterwards as well, because that would be waste. But then you get an idea of what a mixture is. It's lots of different objects all put in the same bit. So when you make your mixture, how would you separate that mixture? What could you do? So I want you to ask yourself that question. Now, next bit is investigate solutions. So I put a little link to a BBC bite-sized video. If you are able to follow that link, please do. If not, it doesn't say anything that isn't said in the activity already. So some substances dissolve when you mix them. So lots of people think that when you put sugar in tea, it disappears. It seems to disappear, sorry, but it doesn't. It actually dissolves, and that is, it becomes a part of the liquid, because when it dissolves, you can still taste it. So it's still there, but you can't see it. So that's what dissolving is. And when something dissolves into a liquid, it is known as a solution. So sugary water would be called a sugar solution. Salty water would be called a salt solution, or a saline solution is a posh word for it. So that's what I want you to do. So children, test out these three mixtures to see which form solutions and which don't. So if you've got salt and water, does that form a solution? Sugar and water, does that form a solution? And then there is sand and water. If you haven't got sand, do something close to sand, sort of, I don't know, stones or something like that. But sand would be best. So then you present the findings in the table. I've given you an example of what your table would look like there. Have you mixed corn flour and water before? If you've got some, mix it. So maybe ask the baker within the house, mum or dad, if they've got some corn flour, because corn flour is used to make gravy and things like that as well. And it's pretty cool stuff, actually. Put a little bit, maybe a couple of tablespoons of corn flour in a dish, and pour a little bit of water so it becomes gloopy, and then try and stir it. Stir it slowly, and then try and stir it quickly. What do you find? You probably need to put something down, that because the corn flour can make a mess, but try pouring it from one dish to another. So corn flour is pretty cool things. If you're making an order or something, an online order for groceries, maybe you could ask whoever's paying if you can include some corn flour in there, because you can have real fun with corn flour. And maybe you can send some videos, send some pictures of what you found. There is also a challenge here. How do you separate mixtures? So can you separate the compounds out of the mixture again? So how would you take the sugar out of the water solution? So the sugar solution, how would you then take them apart again? So if you can take them apart, if you can take the sugar out of the water, that is called a reversible change. So how do you take salt out of water? Okay, so we know the sea has lots of salt in it. Can you take salt out of the sea? Maybe look into that a little bit. Salt comes from somewhere. Where does it come from? Are there changes that cannot be? Are there some changes that cannot be changed? If they cannot be changed, that is called an irreversible change, and that is something that we are going to be looking at next week in next week's lesson. Okay, so lots of stuff to do, really, which should be what science is about, really, isn't it? Finding out, investigating. So hopefully you've got some salt and sugar. Maybe you've got some sand. Maybe you could get your hand on some corn flour. You can present your work in any way. We've got a table, but what I want to do, what science is about, is explaining what you see. So I want lots of, I think this happens because, maybe you could draw some diagrams. Remember, if you are drawing scientific diagrams, you use a ruler because it has to be very accurate, and you make sure you label it really, really well. Okay, hope you enjoy the activities. I have got, show you quickly, I have got this, which is basically what I am asking you to do in an easier format than following the lesson plan. And I've also put this, which is something about changing state that I found was pretty cool. So it's a little bit of a game. I've put that in the folder as well. So the odd one out activity. So what you do, so if you look there, solid, liquid, solid, solid. Yeah, so chocolate is a solid, can't be poured unless you heat it up, of course. That's a liquid. That's a solid. Squidgy solid, but still a solid. Doesn't change shape itself and can be picked up. That's a solid. So this one, agree in your group. Don't worry about the group bit. So I can be made into a pile or heap. What can be made into a pile or heap? That is obviously what that is. That is obvious what that is. I think if you paid attention last week, I take up the shape of the container I am in. So what do you think this is? If it can be made into a pile of or heap, what's this? What's this? What's this? What have they got in common? Okay, so B, C, and D are all liquids. Okay, liquids, see all the particles. A little bit close, but can move around. Not as far away as a gas, but not as linked together as a solid. That is obviously being poured into a container, so that must be a liquid. And again, that describes what's going on here. I can be made it into a pile or a heap. So think about sugar granules. They can be put into a pile or a heap, but each granule is a solid object with very, very strong bonds. Okay, so you copy down onto your piece of paper letter A, and then you go to the next one. So a little bit of fun, a little bit of revision from last week. Okay, hope that makes sense. Have fun.